June 4th, 1996.
A tornado is on the ground. Go to a basement.
They are the most powerful storms on Earth.
The tornado is moving southeast at 25 miles an hour.
Get away from the windows!
They can destroy everything in their path.
This is a dangerous storm situation. Act quickly.
Beautiful updraft. Man.
So why would anyone try to get near one?
This is what we chase for, these few moments.
Tonight, riding with the storm chasers through Tornado Alley.
This is ABC News Nightline. Reporting from Washington, Ted Koppel.
Most of the time, it is what we don't understand that seizes our imaginations. Once our ancestors accepted the notion that the Earth rotates 360 degrees every 24 hours, they stopped worrying about losing the sun every evening. Still, understanding a phenomenon is one thing, lacking the power to affect it is something else again. On that score, tornadoes still rank high in both categories. Even without a hugely successful feature film to raise our consciousness about twisters in the popular culture, the force of a tornado commands attention. Its winds can easily reach several hundred miles an hour. It generates the energy of an atomic bomb. If you sometimes have the impression that there are more twisters in the United States than anywhere else in the world, you are right. And while tornadoes can and do strike right about now during April, May, and June in any one of the 50 states, the heaviest activity occurs along an area known as Tornado Alley, from southeastern North Dakota through Kansas and Oklahoma into Texas, Louisiana, and Mississippi. If you've ever experienced one, you'll never forget it. If you haven't, the next half hour or so may have the answers to a lot of the questions we've all wondered about. Our science editor, Michael Gillen, leads us down the alley.
23-year-old meteorologist Daphne Thompson works for the National Weather Service in Kansas City, Missouri.
Certainly the severe weather threat should diminish.
Her husband, 29-year-old Richard Thompson, works at the Storm Prediction Center, which operates 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year.
Our basic function with the National Weather Service is to issue severe thunderstorm and tornado watches. That's our primary responsibility.
Ooh, that looks pretty nice.
After a long day at the office, you'd think they'd relax. But no, at home, it's more of the same.
Hey, right in the middle of the tornado watch, too.
Richard and Daphne are hardcore weather junkies, hooked ever since they were kids. Even their courtship 6 years ago was stormy.
On Friday nights, he used to take me to the map room to show me the forecast. Not that I found that too interesting.
That was your idea of a date, Richard? I just wanted to see the maps.
He'd bribe me, okay? If you come see the maps, I'll take you to dinner.
That's quite a romance. I tried. There goes tornado.
Richard and Daphne have chased 200 storms and actually seen 50 tornadoes, a very good average.
Clouds condense lower.
Really? Oh, I see it, yeah. There's the funnel coming down. Oh, wow, look at now. It's a
tornado.
That quick.
They've taken many hours of home videos, which they never get tired of watching and rewatching.
Actually, once a year, there's a big chaser party in Oklahoma where all these chasers get together and they all bring some of their better video from the year. And you just sit there the whole day and watch tornado videos.
Oh, you're kidding. Really, the whole day?
Yep.
Tornadoes are the most erratic, most unpredictable, and most violent of storms.
On this day, Richard and Daphne are off on a chase, heading north from Kansas City, guided by reports of thunderstorms more than 500 miles away.
Repeating once again, the Storm Prediction Center has issued a tornado watch for parts of eastern South Dakota, parts of eastern North Dakota, and a large part of western Minnesota.
That's a pretty large target area. The challenge? To home in on that one place and that one time when the tornado will hit, if it hits at all. It's a kind of game that Richard and Daphne mostly play the old-fashioned way, by reading the clouds, checking the air for moisture and temperature, by feeling the wind.
It looks like the real storms will still try to develop back to our west. on the front, so we still have some waiting to do.
Back at the Storm Prediction Center, the scientists there are also waiting, monitoring radar images, satellite photos, wind speed data. When his old-fashioned ways fail him, Richard's not above calling the center for some help.
We could see some towers, but I couldn't make anything out of it.
Yeah, go north, but not too fast, and think about going east. Pretty quick.
All right, I just wanted to make sure that that's where it was before we just took off for no reason up north. Let's go. Now, we had within a half hour a family of tornadoes reported near Watertown. That thing, that innocuous-looking storm north of us is a tornadic supercell. So,
Richard and Daphne raced northward. It's now about 6 p.m., prime time for tornadoes.
The two roads that we'll be considering will be 67 and US 212.
But despite their best efforts, hope soon turns into confusion.
Well, I don't see any cloud formations to tell us.
The storm is up here. I'll tell you what, let's keep going north to Canby. We'll just see what happens. But, no, go east. Go east. I'm not ready to just blow it off yet.
A little further up the road, and one last stop. A strong cold wind ices the chase.
It does not look good at all. This kind of pattern is basically, you can forget it for tornadoes. This is what the chasers refer to as a bust. I mean, at least to this point, I've never seen a day overcome this kind of results.
It wasn't a total bust, but it is kind of disturbing. We never got to see a nice base that the whole thing gusted out before we got a good glimpse of the actual storm.
Later in the broadcast, we'll be joined by the man who pioneered the science of tornado chasing. But first, when we come back, part 2 of Michael Gillen's report.
This is ABC News Nightline, brought to you by Blue Cross Blue Shield.
It's our opinion at Acura that a luxury car should be quiet. It should cradle its occupants in astonishingly soft leather and burled walnut. And with a 3.5-liter power plant, it should be anything but a Sunday drive in the park. Introducing the Acura RL, the new flagship from Acura.
What if? What if my kids need shots?
What if I get transferred to another city? What if I need to lose some weight?
What if I need an x-ray?
What if I need a new doctor? What if my baby comes early?
What if I need blood?
What if I break my arm?
What if there were a healthcare organization with such innovative solutions to what you might need tomorrow that all you'd have to do is enjoy today?
What if my brother makes me eat a bug?
What if you didn't have to worry about healthcare? Blue Cross, Blue Shield.
It's frightening. Gangs of highly trained professional shoplifters hitting malls across America. Chris Wallace shows you how they do it. Primetime gets it done Wednesday.
Hello. You know, you would really like my son, Stevie. He's manager of Nashville Soft Rock 92.9. But if he doesn't make them #1, he's supervisor of Squat, director of Diddley, and he might have to move back in with me. Please listen to Soft Rock 92.9, Billy Joel and Whitney Austin. Do what's right. Listen to 92.9.
Listen to Soft Rock 92.9 or break a mother's heart.
Do what's right.
It's a storm that can affect your area.
When you need to know instantly.
See it live. See it first on News 2.
If it's Storm Tracker.
Storm in the Nashville area during the next 5 minutes. Telling you within minutes when the storm will reach your area. We'll track it for you live. When it's keeping your family safe. Using the most advanced Doppler radar system. When it's live coverage of weather.
If it's accurate and immediate.
It's the News 2 Storm Team.
News 2, where coverage comes first.
Daphne Thompson and her husband Richard have full-time jobs with the National Weather Service in Kansas City, Missouri. But their motto is live to chase and chase to live.
It's a good way to put your money where your mouth is. when you say, I think there are going to be tornadoes 400 miles away from here 10 hours from now, and then you drive out there and it doesn't happen, you remember that.
So he has your blessing?
Richard has my blessing for doing that in his free time, yes.
Fred Osby is Richard's boss. He sees Richard's hobby as part of the larger effort to understand tornadoes.
Have you ever been tempted to chase a tornado?
Oh, yeah. I'd love to do it. I still haven't done it, but I would very much like to do it.
A 40-year weather veteran, Osby is the person in charge of warning the public about tornadoes and of educating them as well. Part of his job is to dispel old wives' tales. For example, the notion that tornadoes never cross rivers.
We've had tornadoes cross the Mississippi River. So if they can do that, they can pretty much do whatever they want.
Wow, look at that.
And yes, it's true that tornadoes destroy mobile homes more so than regular houses, but it's simply because mobile homes are flimsy by comparison.
It's not that the aluminum is attracting them, or God hates mobile homes, or anything like that.
April, May, and June are prime months for tornadoes, an unstable time when the Earth's atmosphere is making the transition from winter to summer.
If you think about a large thunderstorm that's capable of producing a tornado, it's releasing energy at a rate that's about equivalent to the atomic bomb in Hiroshima every second.
Tornadoes are the most powerful storms in nature, though far less deadly now than they used to be. During the 1930s, U.S. tornadoes claimed a total of 2,000 lives. But since then, fatalities have steadily fallen by a whopping 80%.
It used to be you'd have to have a tornado on the ground doing damage before they would warn, and now they don't have to wait until it gets to that point. They can go ahead and warn based on what they see on the Doppler radar.
Today, weather satellites permanently stationed over the United States and Doppler radar units like this, which operate on exactly the same principle as police radar, can easily spot storms speeding across the U.S. before they become twisters. The new technology has saved many lives, especially along that infamous corridor between the Rockies and the Mississippi, known as Tornado Alley. So perfectly flat that cold Canadian air clashes unimpeded with warm Gulf air.
We have a better chance of having strong and violent tornadoes here than just about any other place in the world.
Meteorologist Harold Brooks works smack in the middle of Tornado Alley at the National Severe Storms Lab in Norman, Oklahoma. He's been part of a tornado SWAT team called Project Vortex.
On any given day in which we anticipated the formation of tornadic thunderstorms, we would send out 20 vehicles, sedans and vans, and 2 aircraft that had Doppler radars that could go out and look at thunderstorms from the air.
Scientists hope to use Project Vortex data to one day create a kind of tornado in a box, the most accurate computerized depiction of a twister ever assembled by science. Though Brooks, for one, believes tornadoes will always remain unpredictable.
I don't think we'll ever be at a point where we can issue precise, deterministic forecasts to say absolutely the tornado is going to be here and we'll be doing this kind of damage at this time.
Studying tornadoes in a lab setting like this or with computers is exciting in its own way. But for storm chasers like Richard and Daphne Thompson, there is no bigger thrill than to hop in the car and go after the real thing. It's 5 days after their last chase, which you'll remember was a bust. This time, Richard and Daphne are heading west towards the Kansas-Colorado border. At a gas station, they huddle with other chasers. There's a kind of friendly competition here, but also a lot of friendly cooperation.
He said the shear is actually a little bit better as you get maybe further south of here in southwest Kansas for now. And also the shear is better up in Nebraska north of Warm Front, as you'd expect.
I think we're probably going to move west a little bit to see if we can get some clearing.
The chasers go their separate ways, each following their individual instincts and information. As the day heats up, so does the prospect for seeing a tornado. At a roadside rest stop, Richard and Daphne explain.
Right now, the things look pretty good. The sky cover is broken up. Earlier we were overcast, which tended to reduce heating, which we're looking for.
We need the heating to break off that layer so that we can actually get some convection to start a storm.
See, that's really counterintuitive. Clear skies mean a greater chance maybe of a tornado developing.
Right, maybe not crystal clear, but in this case, this is good now. We've broken off.
An hour later, they reach Oakley, Kansas. Time to call the Storm Prediction Center. The sky here looks very promising, but further northwest, there's already a tornado watch.
Okay, so if it goes, it's potentially better there. Well, we can get up there, I mean, if we have to, so take it easy.
This is a crucial moment. Do they chance it here or go after the storm to the northwest? The decision is made. Get to Nebraska before the tornado watch goes away. Soon, the gamble pays off in a big way.
Beautiful updraft. Man.
We have what looks like a beautiful supercell storm, tremendous updraft. See these knuckles in the anvil here?
At 6:55 p.m. Mountain Daylight Time, trained weather spotters reported the tornado 4 miles southeast of Binkelman along Highway 25. This is a dangerous storm situation. Act quickly.
It's not that far away then. 4 southeast of Binkelman is only about 20 miles north of us.
Good.
Now the chase is on. While others run for cover, Richard and Daphne head right towards the storm, then pull over to size it up.
That is a supercell.
Look how fast it's rotating.
Yeah, tremendous.
That is amazing.
If there's going to be a tornado, it's going to come from this feature kind of on the right side of this whole rotating.
Sort of where those trees and that
yeah,
farm is?
a little bit between that farm and those trees, it'd probably be somewhere in there. One feature we look for at this point is to see a little notch.
You can see the whole thing spinning all the way from the base all the way up to the anvil.
Are we going to see a tornado here, do you think?
I'd say our chances are 8 or 9 out of 10 at this point.
With a tornado likely, they move in closer to set up the cameras, hoping to capture images of something very few will ever see.
Oh, it's fantastic. It's going to try to do it right here. This is what we chase for, these few moments. Watch for something to try to spin up. Uh-oh, outflow just hit us.
Look, you can see the rain curtains are wrapping.
Yeah, I mean, it's trying. It's trying very hard.
It's 9:13 p.m. In order to stay with the storm, Richard and Daphne speed further up the road.
Possible cone funnel. You see what we're talking about? See the pointy area? It's getting dark, so it's hard to tell, but those are the characteristics.
Light and time are running out. There was never a clearly defined tornado, the view obscured by clouds, dust, and darkness, as it often is with tornadic storms. But the supercell was undeniably super, so the chase gets high marks.
Even though we didn't get a tornado, I'd say because the storm is very impressive, it's in probably the top quarter of most chases. There are a lot of chases worse than the way this one turned out. I'm happy with it.
I'd give it an 8. I mean, it was just an amazing storm. I'd never seen anything like that rotating so fast. So I really enjoyed it.
You happy?
I'm happy.
We're happy.
It's 10:30 p.m., and as if to celebrate the end of a successful chase, Mother Nature fills the sky with a beautiful lightning storm.
I'm happy, except I'll be happier when we get some dinner. Because it's damn late and I'm hungry.
When we come back, I'll be joined by Joe Golden, a meteorologist whose life's work has centered around tornadoes and other storms.
One of these has your name on it. And it's working its merry way to your office right now. It's an invitation from their company to your company, offering big savings over AT&T. There's just one thing missing from the envelope. The big savings. Maybe they got lost in the mail. Has a discount long-distance company offered you big savings? Call us for the facts.
People say in the town of Flatwoods, the most exciting thing to do is sit around and watch the paint dry. Especially when it's Behr Premium Plus, only from Home Depot.
It's going on so smoothly.
Nice color.
It's 100% acrylic.
It's like putting a plastic shell on your house.
And since Behr has a 15-year guarantee, these people know they won't be seeing this much excitement again for quite a while. Behr Premium Plus, the premium paint with a Home Depot price.
Summertime is sun time, but do medications you take increase your chances of a burn? How to protect your skin.
That's tomorrow right here in our new home.
On Good Morning America. We have a moral obligation to give our children in America with the opportunity and values of the nation we grew up in.
Bob Dole grew up in Russell, Kansas.
From his parents, he learned the value of hard work, honesty, and responsibility. So when his country called, he answered. He was seriously wounded in combat. Paralyzed, he underwent 9 operations.
I went around looking for a miracle that make me whole again.
The doctors said he'd never walk again, but after 39 months, he proved them wrong.
He persevered, he never gave up, fought his way back from total paralysis.
Like many Americans, his life experience and values serve as a strong moral compass. The principle of work to replace welfare, the principle of accountability to strengthen our criminal justice system, the principle of discipline to end wasteful Washington spending.
It all comes down to values. What you believe in, what you sacrifice for, and what you stand for.
With the same quality as national brands and savings throughout the store on 4,000 different items, buying Kroger brands could save you enough money to buy your own brand. Kroger brand, the biggest brand in the land.
Joining us here in Washington, Joe Golden is a senior meteorologist with NOAA, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. And let me begin on one of those mundane notes that everybody talks about. Why do they seem to hit trailer parks so often?
Well, that's a long-held popular myth, Ted, that trailer parks attract tornadoes. In reality, there's a growing segment of our population in America for whom mobile homes are the only affordable housing. Many of our retired people are buying mobile homes and moving them. They're not really mobile. They're pretty fixed, of course, and they move them to the Sun Belt states in many cases. And so it just appears that with increasing frequency that mobile home parks get hit. But,
all right, let me broaden the question out. Why North America? I pointed out at the top, we have more tornadoes in this country than anywhere else in the world. Is that true?
That's absolutely true. One of the reasons seems to be our unique geology and geography. The Gulf of Mexico, the warm water off the Gulf, in the Gulf of Mexico, coupled with the north-south Rocky Mountain range, those two features combined lead to this clash of air masses over the tornado belt of the country that you mentioned earlier.
Hot and cold.
That's right. And so that's the breeding ground for the areas that have the highest frequency of tornado occurrence, although they can really occur any state of the country.
With how much accuracy can you actually predict, and how far ahead can you now predict when a tornado is coming and where?
Well, since during the last 5 years, when the modernization of the National Weather Service has been taking place, as you know, we've been deploying a network of Doppler radars called NEXRAD. And during this period, at the beginning of, before the modernization, warnings were typically issued after a spotter would phone in a report, or when it was seen by the public, or once in a while we'd see a hook echo on radar. And in most cases, the lead time was essentially 0, or in some cases it would be negative. It would occur after the tornado was reported. We're now averaging, Ted, about 8 to 9 minutes of lead time with our warnings for tornadoes.
All right, let's just have a few minutes of information that people can use, because as I indicated, we are now in the high season for tornadoes, and there are a lot of places around the country where people are accustomed to them, other places where they are not. You're driving along, you're smart enough to be listening to the radio, which is probably a good idea at this time of year, right?
Absolutely.
And somebody says tornado warning. What do you do?
Well, you first, if you see, just looking around you, if you see a tornado in close proximity, I would certainly not stay in the car, and I would not try to outrace the tornado. If I see a tornado bearing down on me less than a mile away, I would look for any permanent structure I could find. I'd look for a house, service station, any permanent structure that I could get to in just a few minutes, and get away from the windows, get as low as I can. I'd get out of my car.
Even if you could only find an overpass, in other words, you would get under the overpass but still get out of your car?
Only as a last resort. If the overpass was the only thing available to me, then I would seek that. But I'd still look for a permanent structure. Here's why. There's a very famous video that was taken, as you know. But the overpass provides you some protection from flying debris. You're much better off in a permanent structure, a house, a building of some sort than in your car or the overpass.
And yet the power of a major twister is such that it can literally suck a house up and blow it away too.
Well, that's true in many cases, but we also see in many cases where people do the right things when they respond to the National Weather Service warnings. We advise people, get to an interior hallway, get into your bathroom, get into the bathtub with a mattress over you. You see recent stories on ABC just last week in Louisville, where a woman, I think, and her daughter survived the total destruction of their house by properly responding to the National Weather Service warning. So there are things that you can do to protect yourself and your family.
In other words, much of what we're afraid of is not so much even the power of the wind itself as all these guided missiles that are going to be flying around now, right?
Ted, it's not the wind that kills you. It's the flying debris. My research colleagues in the wind engineering community have found that by using air guns and shooting 2x4s into brick walls of various strengths, a 2x4 flying through the air at just 100 miles an hour can do a lot of damage and penetrate many kinds of walls.
Joe Golden, as I said to you just before we started, not since shark experts became popular after Jaws has there probably been an increase in a singular man's popularity. But thanks very much for being with us. I know how busy you are these days. I'll be back in a moment.
From 0 to 60, the ultimate driving machine is outdone by a Volvo wagon. Is nothing sacred.
I don't know, but it's been said, athlete's foot's as good as dead. Mighty Mike.
No cooling action.
Mighty Mike. Axe on contact, this I know, cause that tingle tells me so. Mighty Mike. New Mighty Mike. Stops the itch and cools the burn, penetrates to kill the germ. Athlete's foot, don't let it win, stamp it out with Mica 10.
There's only one garage that's filled to capacity with these top brand tires. The Sears Auto Center. And right now, new Bridgestone road handlers are all on sale at guaranteed unbeatable prices. And remember, the pressure's on us to deliver. Sears new Bridgestone road handlers. No matter what's parked in your garage, chances are you'll find a tire for it in ours.
那至于怎么了？
嗨，不太妙，市场部老是收不到工程部的最新数据。
你是要 Lotus Notes 在网络上自动复制更新的数据，这样每个人都可以随时得到最新的信息，甚至是环球网上。
这样就能知己知彼，百战百胜。
一点儿也没错。
From 0 to 60, the ultimate driving machine is outdone by a Volvo wagon. Is nothing sacred.
Thursday at 9, 8 Central, The Commish returns in a riveting 2-hour movie starring Michael Chiklis and award-winning actor Dean Stockwell.
I am innocent.
A drastic plea.
I want you to clear my name.
A desperate man.
In less than 15 hours, the state is going to send me into hell.
A dead man walking unless the real killer is exposed.
We've been looking at this all wrong.
Michael Chiklis is The Commish in the Shadow of the Gallows, Thursday at 9, 8 Central on ABC.
It's always a pleasure to welcome a new affiliate to the ABC television network, WCPO-TV, Channel 9, Cincinnati, Ohio. We're awfully glad you're with us. And that's our report for tonight. I'm Ted Koppel in Washington. For all of us here at ABC News, good night.
If you wish a transcript or a video cassette version of this or any edition of Nightline, please call 1-800-913-3434.
Nightline is a presentation of ABC News. More Americans get their news from ABC News than from any other source.